Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Selamat pagi, namaste, and also magandang umaga in Tagalog. There's some college from Philippines also. So my name is Wahyu Mulyana. I was also the executive director of URDi, and since 2018, I become the advisors. Now I also involved in some urban development projects. For example, from the World Bank here in Jakarta, and also the climate change related projects with the NGOs like the Children's, and also another climate initiative from other philanthropy organization. I would like to share the presentations following the outline that already mentioned in the curriculum of this training from URDi. The title is the Building Collaborative and Smart Governance Network. I think I'm very appreciative with the group works that already presented this morning, and some of my presentation actually is already there. So I think maybe it's not like the solid material that very highly academic exercise, but my presentation is like just to provide some notes and pointers on the issues of the networks and also networking, and then maybe because the session will combine with the networking session still lunchtime. So I will do the two parts of the presentation. First one is about the lecture here, and also maybe the second session is more on the networking session. And maybe in the networking session, I would like to ask more on the participant or comments and also input, or suggestions with regard to the networking. Next slide. Okay, this is the key takeaway that we get from the previous day session. So I think every morning is already summarized also by URDi. So, but I put some point that we hope we already understood about some concept and also the definitions about the collaborative and smart governance. What is that, and also why we need the collaborative and smart governance, and we also looking for the possible solution to deal with the urban challenge that are getting more complex in the future. So this morning we heard about the problem of the solid waste is still become the key issues in urban sectors, both in other countries and also in Indonesia. And during the 2 days session, also we get some details on the models of the collaborative governance that refer to the existing literatures, and also some process on that. And we also know about the new concept of the smart governance, which combine between the government organization using the ICT and also the citizen participation. And yesterday, and also in this morning session, we heard about the actor relational approach, and also how we can use this kind of models or method to do the planning approach. And as we know that this approach is really taking the voice of the multi-stakeholders in defining the problems and the issues of in urban development, and also trying to engage with the more multi-stakeholder process, and also the challenge how we can maintain this kind of networks among stakeholders for the future times, as Mr. Krishna mentioned. I think this thing is very good basics for us within the short period of training. And also I appreciate with the share from Pak Renung yesterday also about the Malang case on the solid waste. And actually they are trying now to move not only the problem of the solid waste is not only belong to government, but also try to involve other stakeholders that's actually plays the important role in solid waste, like the business sectors and also the community at the village level and also the community group. I think that's all my observations about the 2 days training. And then what I would like to discuss next in this session, following the outline. So I will elaborate more about key actors in collaborative and smart governance practice. Even though we already heard from the participant group works, they already also doing this kind of stakeholder analysis. And also the second one is about the importance of networking and coalition, because the effort to establish and also to maintain the networking also is become the importance, yeah, to make this kind of process is more sustained in the future times. And the third point is about the potential and challenges with regard to the networking process. And the fourth point is about the process of networking itself. So I just find out some examples, not really the real exercise in the urban sector, because I know the collaborative governance is quite popular now since maybe in the last decade, yeah. But somehow we also have difficulties when we find out or we document the real exercise on the collaborative process. I think it is like the ongoing process that's always evolve and also always develop time by time. And also the last point, but unfortunately it's not appear here. So we will discuss about the networking session. As I mentioned, it will more on the to getting more comment, inputs, and suggestion from the participant. Next slide. So I think identifying key actors. I think this is just to remind again that participant is already done in the work groups. Yeah. So we use this stakeholder mapping as the, I think in some project or in some exercise become the important aspect, yeah, to know who are the stakeholder, who are the key actors involved in our project or initiative. So one of the tools, the popular tool here is the stakeholder mapping. I think many of us, I believe, that's already familiar with this kind of exercise, and we can have some exercise on the stakeholder mapping. But the important things from these tools, actually, we have to define first about the objective and scope of the project, because it will also influence our mapping and also our scope of the analysis. For example, this morning we are talking about the waste in one city. So we have to define whether it is the issues is only limited to the city, but not really the initiative not really heavily depend on the other level of governance, for example. So if we are talking about the West Bank, maybe in somehow, if the initiative is only at the level of the city, maybe we can we can limit the boundaries or the scope of the projects into the city level. But if we want to change some, for example, some policies on regulation, for example, like in case of Malang district that Mr. Renung yesterday mentioned, they are now trying to move to, to manage waste from the government unit into the more what we call the public service obligation unit. So I think it is different type. It is still in the government unit, but different in the flexibility to use of the fund or financial. So within the new structures, they only limit to use the government budget, but with the next type of organization, it can be combined between using the government budget, and also they can also attract another investment or cooperation with the other stakeholder. I think in that case, maybe the stakeholder is not only limited to the Malang district, but also they should think also the stakeholder coming from the central government, because some of the regulations about the solid waste management unit at the city level is still depend on the regulation at the national level. So that's one point that why we need to define the objective and also the scope of the initiative of the project. And the second point that I mentioned here also in the stakeholder map is define the point in time. So I think it will be good also if we always update about the position, about the roles of stakeholder or actors from time to time, because the actor itself, they form the dynamic of the issues and interdependency of the issues. I think the actor mapping or the stakeholder mapping is not a static, is not a status, but it's always a dynamic. We have very good examples when we use this kind of stakeholder mapping in analyzing the conflict of land use in between the community with the palm oil company in Sumatra, in one province in Sumatra. So we did the stakeholder mapping not only at this time, but also just trying to make some prehistorical analysis or historical analysis of the stakeholder map. So we find out that there is very interesting finding that the perception and the position of stakeholders with regard to the land use conflict it can be different from one time to another time. So for example, in one time, the challenger or the opposite actors with regard to the land use belong to the government, but in another times maybe the opposite actor belong to the community. So I think we need to be consider also this kind of timelines of this kind of exercise. Maybe if we have the analysis like in the work groups, we put that this is the condition of stakeholder mapping in the mid of 2022 before another. So with that kind of the clarity in terms of the time. So another point that also important is to identify the actors. I think we can use the many definitions. So this morning we have the three different kind of actors, from the key actors, main supporters, something like that, and then also the challengers. Yeah. So this is the another types of actors we can also classify based on the important roles. We can use the one is the key stakeholders. Another one is primary stakeholder, that also important, but they have less than, the important is compared to the key stakeholder is less. And then another type of the secondary stakeholder that whose involvement in the project can be indirect or temporary. So we can use that kind, and also we can make a differentiate stakeholder based on the type of actors, like the civil society, state actors, and also the private sector. So within the civil society also, there are so many layers of the actor or stakeholder. We can say this is coming from the university, coming from the non-government organization, coming from the international organization, and etc. Within the private sector also, we can define some different layers of actors. Also in the state government, we can make some differentiation between the national level, government agency, provincial, city level, and also the state-owned company, etc. I think this is quite important to define or identify about who are the key actors, and also the definition. So another point that also important things that we need to find out in stakeholder map is sometimes we need also to find out about the key stakeholder that they have the veto players in the decision making process or in the planning process. Like for example, in the waste sectors, yeah. Sometimes we find out like the informal sector or informal waste collector is become the key stakeholder, but sometimes also they have the veto players when the government has a program on the waste bank and etc. So I think it will be good also if we can find out about these veto players, yeah, because in fact we have some experience, yeah, when we are doing the actor mapping or stakeholder mapping in the people works. Maybe it's slightly different when we are also doing the another intelligence or another discussion directly with the stakeholder. For example, we have experience to identify the stakeholders from the national parliament members, the members of the parliament at the national level. So when we are talking about the climate change, it's belong to the commission number 6 that dealing with the issues of environment. And we know in this commission number 6, they consist about 60% or 60 peoples of 60 members of parliaments coming from the different parties. So we define that they are the key stakeholder that can influence the policy at national level for climate change. But then when we have the chance to discuss more with some representative for the national parliament members, so we can find out that from the 50 of the parliament member, there are only 3 or 4 peoples that very dominant, yeah, or very dominant in setting the agenda within the commission number 6. So I think that 3 or 5 parliament members who has the strong voice, we can classify it into the veto players, something like that. Another example also we find out in the ongoing process that now I'm involved in doing the slum upgrading in Jakarta. So we introduce to improve the slum area by using the land consolidation technique, something like that. So the people who are living in this settlement, we ask for the voluntary partnership, yeah, to involve in this project. And we said we have the target to involve like the 60% of the peoples living in slum area can be participate in this program. But then when we have the stakeholder mapping, actor mapping, and also identify directly from the household survey, we found out that there is also some veto players that have very strong voice within the community, and they can influence half or 1/3 of the peoples or the population in the area. So I think that's some good experience also to consider about the key stakeholder, and also if there are some veto players that very important in the process of identifying the actors in every development projects. So I think that's the point. The next slide. So the next slide, we can also follow up the stakeholder mapping and then conduct more in-depth analysis, or we call this is the stakeholder analysis. I think this is also the further exploration based on the stakeholder mapping. So we can define also the stakeholder based on their legitimacy, based on their access to control resources, and also based on their strongly network stakeholders. So we can make some analysis on that. I think this stakeholder analysis also very important when we identify who are the stakeholder and also the potential roles of stakeholder in the future project. Examples we heard from this morning exercise, like the idea of the West Bank. Maybe we need also to invite since the availability of finance is limited, we have to invite the donor agency. For example, in this case, the JICA. Yeah? So I think the JICA is become they have the resources, they have also legitimacy to involve in the project, so become, and also the potential role of the JICA in the next project of West Bank maybe become important. And stakeholder analysis also, we can use the result from this stakeholder analysis in formulating the stakeholder engagement strategy. I think it is common in some projects, yeah. Like for example, in the step of the actor relational approach, we define about the round tables. Actually, the round table is talking about the strategy, how to engage stakeholders, yeah, through the various techniques of communication. I think the stakeholder analysis, if we can further elaborate in exercise, is very good to support our analysis in the project formulation. The next slide. So another tools also that also relate with this kind of exercise. Actually, this is one examples. I'm using this actors network analysis in my academic research last 3 years. So I'm doing this to see the actors with regard to the urban water system in the metropolitan area. In that time, the case in Bandung metropolitan area. And we try to make some analysis actors with the policy cycle or policy domain. Sometimes we can do also in one way, actors with actors, but also in this case, I'm using the actors with the policy domain, starting from the water cycle, from the water resources, from the water supply exercise till the wastewater management treatment plan. So we can find out the kind of more complex analysis, yeah, about the relation between actor, and we can find out who are the main actor who has very strong access to another actor. We can also see the intermediary actors that can play to bridge between one policy domain with another policy domain actor. I think this is another example how we can also elaborate more in find out about the actor mapping and actor analysis. Next slide, please. So I think the second part of this presentation, I would also like to put the importance on the network or networking, as Mr. Krishna mentioned, that actually when we have the good connection with the people, with the individual, I think the network is there. Yeah. So I think I make this clarification because sometimes also I'm very confusing what is the difference of the network and also what is the network itself. Yeah, this is I just adapted from I think the information technology terminology. Yeah. So the networking is more on the whole process, the activities on making this connection. The network itself is about the relationship or the connection between one parties to another parties, like the spider or like a net. So if you are using the local area network, it is like the using your connecting your computer to the internet connection. So this is become the network. But the process to prepare about the local area network, to prepare about the software, brainware, and etc., we can say it is like the networking. So the networking is more broader terms, but the network is about the noun or the product from our networking process. So why we need network or networking? I think it is also already in happen in our daily of lives. Yeah, everybody cannot stand alone or cannot live without any connection with the other people. I think that's become the nature in our human relationship. But considering the problem of the cities and urban challenges is more complex, I think it is important to also to have this network or this networking process, yeah, in our development project. And another reason also, we need to have the network and also to make a networking because we don't have any knowledge, expertise, and also access, yeah, to the population, and we are using this network and our networking for potential solution. Like for example, if I have works in Philippines or in Nepal, I think we can make some good network and also networking with our friend here. So that's one example of we use the network and also networking. And I think the third point also, sometimes we need the network or networking is because we still don't know about the good solution in something, and also we need to find out more iterative and also to find out the development of solution. I think we all agree, I think, with this kind of situation. So we have to and we already did also in our daily life and also in our works to do the network and also the networkings. Next slide, please. So what we have explained in this 3 days training session, we always hear about the collaborative and works and also the collaborative network. I think in the last decade, I think the term is also very popular in starting from the business sectors. Yeah, I think the collaborative network is like the promising paradigm. Yeah, in a knowledge-driven society. I think we put that notion, yeah, from this article, and some business entity and society also they already evolved, yeah, from the working style to be more collaborative manners. So in somehow also the collaborative network are very good and also essential for the future business. Yeah, this is like the fostering innovation and also can create the exchange. Yeah, I have the good examples, like I have friends that now he is doing the business in opening the coffee shop. Yeah. So when he create the business, he invite like 5 to 10 persons, yeah, to join to be a shareholder in his business. And I asked, why you invite people to join your business? And he said that I think rather than I have the 100% of the shares in this coffee shop, so I think for me it will be good if I have another person to also have share in our coffee shop, because with the more broader shareholder, it will also open another opportunity for the another type of customers who come to the coffee shop. Like for example, if I have my network is only limited to the people in university, maybe our another shareholder, maybe they can also have another network that can invite people to come to the coffee shop from the another community. So I think that kind of situation is now also happening in the business sector. Maybe we know also the another case about the sharing economy. Actually, it's now is quite popular in the business sector that everybody can share and can put the money in the new business and using the platform of the digital platform and etc. I think for the business sector, collaborative network is already implemented. So I think maybe for the public sectors, slowly but surely it's also become the most popular way that we have to do in the government sectors. And yeah, another benefit also with this kind of a collaborative network is we will have the teamwork, yeah, in doing the project or the initiative. I just heard about the experience of West Java province now, yeah, 3 days ago. They are trying to exercise this collaborative network within the government structure. It's quite interesting, but unfortunately, I don't have any material. But the idea is they are just trying to shift within the government structures and also to put more on the collaborative networks working styles, and also they will introduce more on the collaborative working space. For example, maybe in the previous types of the government office, everybody have the room or the space, yeah, for working silo or alone. But now they are trying like the working space that people can interact together in one desk, and also there is another room for only for meeting, and also another room for another interaction. I think it's quite interesting how they adopt the concept of collaborative networks within the organization, and also it reflects into the working space at the government office. Yeah. I think that one thing that maybe still moving, starting, yeah, in like for example in West Java province. Next slide, please. So I think this is just to show about the different terms that maybe we use some terminology already about what is the network, and also what is the coordinated network or coordination, cooperative, and more collaborative. So I think we can say that if we are talking only the network, it is only talking about the exchange of the communication of information. But then if we are talking more on the coordination, maybe there are already some aligning activities, yeah, for mutual benefit. Even in the coordination terms, sometimes people is still located in their coordinate, yeah, not move to another. So just they are trying to align the activities, and the cooperation is more on the doing together in formulating the compatible goals. Like I cooperate with another institution to do the project, and then we are doing formulate the same goals with some coordination. But I think the most advanced and it's also become our future is the collaboration. So collaboration is not limited to the joint goals, joint identities, but also working together. And they put also resources together to work together. So I think this just to make us more understanding about the continuum from the network till the collaborative network, what we always heard in the last three days. Next slide, please. So I think the one element that also important in collaborative network is to establish the platform. Yeah. Also, we heard from the exercise this morning also. Actually, in conducting the project, we need also the platform to maintain or to improve the network. So in the action relational approach, what we call the round tables, yeah, the round tables. Yeah. But in here, we can also differentiate between the collaborative network between the virtual and also the non-virtual workspace or offline workplace that all resources and tools also can be centralized and also can be shared with the other parties. So I think the type of the virtual platform, as we already know, maybe we can use also the social media using the IT and using another technological devices, and also the sharing knowledge management to the portal. Like for example, this portal of SDG from CityNet, I think is one of the example of good platform, yeah, for the urban SDG. So another platform maybe in some community, they still also rely on the face-to-face or offline collaborative platform. People is always looking for non-virtual things, yeah, face-to-face meeting, discussion, coffee morning, and etc. I think there is some benefit or also challenge with regard to the collaborative platform, but I think, in my opinion, I think the best way to set up the collaborative platform, it should be also refer to the understanding and also the capacity and skill of the stakeholder that will be involved in this platform. For example, for me also, yeah, even now also we are trying to work more online using the cloud computing system to put the data. But sometimes for me, working on the Microsoft Word alone is very comfortable than working on the cloud system. So it is relate to the work cultures and also to the skill that we have, yeah, especially for the baby boomers generation. Maybe for the millennial generation or the Gen X, Gen Z, Gen Y, maybe they are now very comfortable working on the more on the online platform. That's some discussion on or some sharing on this collaborative platform. Next slide, please. So, and then this is the last slide from my sharing. This is about how do we build the collaborative network? Yeah, I think frankly to say, for me also it's quite difficult, yeah, to more define about this process, because it will be different from one to another, from one location to another location. So sometimes we always talk the terms of the replication or scaling up, but in fact it is not really easy, yeah, to do the replication and scaling up. So I just share some point that adopted from the using the collaborative setting up the collaborative network. Yeah. So I think the first step, I think actually the important to have or to organize the shared vision, objective, and strategy among the stakeholders. Yeah. Because the network the collaborative network is like the group of the people or the individual of the organization that have the self vision and objective and share. For example, URDis become the part of the CityNet, or a city government become the part of CityNet because they have the self vision, objective, and similar strategy and agree with this shared vision and strategy. And the second element also, we need also to design about the organizational structures. When we have this collaborative network, so we have to set up also the organizational structures. As I mentioned, the example of the West Java province, they are trying to put the vision of the collaborative working style, and then they now are trying to translate into the changing on the government agency organizational structures. Yeah, so how they can have more on the networking organization rather than silo organization. I think it will be also become the good, I mean, the important component, how to translate this vision, this objective and strategy into the structure of organization. And the third part also about the network engagement and share responsibility. I think this is about the culture, how we can, as Mr. Krishna mentioned, maintain this engagement. So we have to create more on the opportunities to have the more interaction among the network members, and also to sharing the result, and also the improve the achievement of the individual. I think, for example, this training session from the CityNet, I think it's one effort to increase the engagement of the network members, and also sharing the experience from the network member is one also effort to do that. I think many efforts also within the CityNet, they are doing like the knowledge management using the platform, and also the C2C cooperation, I think, in facilitating the cooperation among the cities within the Asia Pacific region. And the fourth component also, the important thing to develop the collaborative network is the capacity development. I think we know that the skill, the capacity, the capability of the network, including the institution and also the people, is important to be done continuously in order to in order to support the growth and achievement for the project goal, and also for the city development goals. I think in terms of the sharing session, I will finish with this slide. So I think I will take over to Mr. David, maybe for the clarification or question and answer. After that, I will continue with the networking session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wahyu, for the presentation on building collaborative and smart governance network. Next, we will move to the networking session discussion. But before discussion among us, part of the networking, the process of networking, as mentioned by Mr. Wahyu, is to enable the process of the process itself, not the noun, but the process itself. So at this moment, I would like to ask the participant to kindly introduce him or herself, turn off their camera, of course, and tell us about your cities and countries, where you're from, and institution that you're represent here. So we and all the participants could know you better. Any volunteer, or I just maybe I'll just start with again Mr. Nur Rahman, and then we will move to next participant.
Yes, sorry, I think I missed the question, but you mentioned that we need to introduce ourselves.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Your name and your institution and where do you from, the cities and the countries.
Okay, okay. Thanks, David. Yes, my name is Nur Rahman Wijaya. I'm from Bandung. Now, currently, I work in ITB, Bandung Institute of Technology, as a lecturer and researcher at Department of Urban and Regional Planning.
Okay, thank you. And move on to Miss Siti Nurlela.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Siti Nurlela. Originally, I'm from Bandung. I live in Surabaya now. I'm working in ITS as lecturer and researcher in Urban and Regional Planning Department. Thank you. That's all, yeah.
Yes, thank you, Miss Siti Nurlela and Mr. Muhammad Nurhadi or Mas Inung.
Okay, thank you, David. Hey everyone, my name is Nur Hadi. You can call me Inung. I'm from Bintari Foundation. Bintari Foundation is an NGO, Indonesian NGO working in the area of climate change and waste management. So actually, I give input to David in the chat. So maybe it is important also to share the strength and weakness of our institution in order to identify potential cooperation or collaboration. So that's why I also introduced my organization, and our strength is most likely if related to expertise in waste management, either in the or especially in the local level, dealing with waste collection, recycling, and so on. So if you one of you or anybody have same interest as us, for sure we are open for collaboration. Yeah, thank you, David. Back to you.
Yes, thank you, Mas Inung. It is a great suggestion, and the next participant could also share about the opportunity or the strength and weakness for that might be improved by using this network. Okay, next, Ibu Eli Widya from Sidoarjo.
Okay, hello everyone. It's really good to see you here again. I think this is it's the last day of the training, right? So my name is Eli Widya. I'm from Sidoarjo. From now on, I'm working at Cooperation Division of Sidoarjo Regency. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Ibu.
Okay.
And Mr. Siva. Mr. Siva? Oh, you're still, you have to unmute.
Sorry. Namaste and good morning to all. I'm Siva Pasaramate. I'm Chief and Engineer of Leknat Water Supply Users Committee. Actually, this is one of the the best project of YEDI-based project, community-based project in Nepal, as well as it is one of the the pilot projects also. So we serve to 10,000 households to the water supply, and more than 0.15 million people are people are we serve the water to the drinking water to 0.15 million people. So this project is a very unique project in context of Nepal. This project we contribute the 50% contribution of the users committee and a 50% grant of the Nepal government. That grant is from the URDi. So the government totally hand over this project to the community. Now we are autonomous body. We have no any direct connection to the government, but when we need some supports, financial supports, maybe technical supports, easily get it from the government's parts. But in financially, we are autonomous body, and we have one constitution, we have board members, we have on our budgets, we can freely use our budget without get any permission from the government body. Now we are, and this kind of project, URDi has invested a lot of money in Nepal for this kind of big project, and government also very happy because the users itself, the operating the water supply Nepal in most of cities, maybe the government has planning to implement 205 cities such kind of the project. Now 100 more than 150 projects have already completed by the Minister of Water Supply in Nepal. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Mr. Siva. Okay, thank you. We will elaborate more in the discussion session after this one.
Sure, sir.
Okay, moving to the next participant, Sheila Hemades. Miss Sheila Hemades. You need to unmute.
Hi, I'm Sheila Hemedes from the City Government of Santa Rosa, Philippines. And I work in Management and Internal Audit Office. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Sheila. And going next to Miss Gina Bimadin.
Hello, good. It's afternoon here in the Philippines, but good morning to others. Yes, I am Gina Bimadin. I'm a registered environmental planner, and I work in the City Planning and Development Coordinator's Office. So we make plans, programs, short-term, medium-term, and long-term plans that where other projects could be anchored. And also I'm working as the officer in charge of the City Tourism Office of Santa Rosa, Laguna, Philippines. And we're in charge of promoting the tourism industry of the city, as well as the culture, heritage, and arts. And also I am the officer in charge of the Gender and Development Office. So one of the sustainable development goals is gender equality. So that's it. I'm holding these 3 offices.
Okay, thank you, Miss Gina. And moving on to Miss Bel Marquez. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Yes. You need to unmute first.
Okay. Good morning and good afternoon. I am Maribel Marquez. I am a sanitation inspector from Quezon City Government under the Climate Change and Environmental Sustainability Department. And first, I would like to thank CityNet and URDi for inviting us in this training. So far, the sessions are very informative, and we all the participants learned a lot from the sessions and the workshops. And we are to conclude, we would like to I would like to learn more about the other projects from the other countries, especially in treating wastewater, because that's one of our city's problems nowadays, since potable water is we have shortage on potable water.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Bell. And next, Miss Sulistyo Freti Dahlia. Yes.
Okay. Hello everybody. Good morning and good afternoon. I am Sulis from Bandung City Government, Indonesia. Actually, I'm working for planning, research and development agency. Actually, I'm not working for infrastructure division, but I'm working for data information division. And I'm interested in learning waste management. Thank you.
Okay. Next, Marwina Manlapit. Ms. Rowena, are you there? Or okay, we skip it first with Mr. Dipa.
Hello everyone. Good morning, David. It's me, Deepak Marhatta. I'm from Nepal. So I run one NPO here in Nepal. We work for the field, in the field of disaster resilience and climate change. So we have started one new initiative here in Nepal, and we are working in especially focusing on school children and community level. So if anyone from this network interested to work in disaster and climate change, so we are here in Nepal. So thank you for giving this opportunity, and I think this workshop training has given us so many things to learn. So sorry that today also I could join a little bit late because of the time zone of Nepal. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dipak. Next one is Ms. Salika Ranawira. Ms. Salika? If not, we are moving to Mr. Iputu Dika Danarjaya. Mr. Iputu Dika, are you available? Okay. Ibu Miss Eli Widya, is it already? Is she already introduced herself? Or? Miss Eli? Okay, I think that's all for the introduction.
Mr. David, I'm sorry. Mrs. Rowena raised her hand.
Oh, okay, Miss Rowena.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I'd like to say that the session is very informative, and I would also like to share that in our programs in the city of Balanga, Philippines, specifically on solid waste management, is based on the specific nature, strengths, and weaknesses. So I think that other programs must also be patterned after this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Rowena. And the last one, I would ask the participant to turn their camera again, so we could have a photo session while we are turning on our camera. Please lead, Jessica.
Okay, sir. So, okay, if anyone still want to join, I will wait for you to turn on the camera, because maybe some of us have the connection problems, and that's okay too. But if you can join, please turn your camera on so I can see you on the screen. Okay, I think we will take the picture now. Oh, okay. We still have some more. Okay, I will count to 3, everybody. 1, 2, 3, say cheese. One more. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. And now we will move to the next network session. Moving on to Mr. Wahyu Mulyana. Maybe you could guide us of the key question to discuss here. The screen is yours, Mr. Mulyana.
Okay, thank you, David and friends. I think it's quite interesting to know each other with the different background, yeah. And for me, it is also very glad to see the college from Indonesia, because some of the name here also is quite familiar. Nur Rahman, we have been working since last time. Pak Nur Hadi, we met in several occasions, Pak, ya. And Putu Dika, actually Putu Dika is starting from URDi before he joined to the DKI Jakarta. And at the college from Sidoarjo, from the ITS, yeah, and Bu Siti, Bu Eli, yeah, and others from Indonesia, and also college from the Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Philippines. Yeah. So I just want to show the I mean, this is just to, because actually this networking session, Pak David, is more on the in apa two-ways communication, not really the I mean the lectures.
Okay, Pak. Sorry, it seems that
It's freezing.
Yes.
Mr. Wahyu is freezing.
Sorry. The problem with
Internet.
sorry. I just realized when David is not smile to me. Okay. Just let me to share my experience on the networking. Yeah. Can we show the screen on the landscape of the networking organization? So this is just to, I think everybody is also knows so many organizations working as the network organization, and fortunately some of the organization I have been involved, like for example, if we are talking about the climate change, yeah. So we know at the global levels now we heard about the resilient cities networks. Yeah, actually it is coming from the first ideas or the first project on the Asian climate change, Asian cities climate change resilient network (ACCRN). This is also involves some countries in Asia like Indonesia, India, Vietnam, and also I forgot maybe the one is Philippines, ICC in Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand. For 4 countries under the Rockefeller. So I think we know also in the global level we have the C40 cities. So maybe some cities in Asia also join with the C40s. Mostly they are looking for the mitigation, climate change mitigation initiative, like for the solid waste, energy, and etc. We also heard about the network of local government for sustainability, ICLEI. I think it's very famous in most countries in Southeast Asia and South Asia. I think ICLEI also has chapters in India, yeah, for the South Asia, and also chapter in Philippines for the Southeast Asia, in Indonesia also, in Oceania. And we know also the UCLG. So the UCLG Asia Pacific is based on Jakarta. They are now also doing the climate change projects on city resilience initiative. And we know also the Cities Alliance. Previously, they are most working on the Cities Without Slum initiative. Maybe if we are looking at other organizations, so many things, like for example, UNESCO also, they have the creative city. And also there's another networks in Asia and the regional, like the one is CityNet. Yeah, CityNet is we also involved in this training. Another network on the Europe is on the human settlement, housing and settlement network. In Asian, also there is the Asian Smart Cities Network. So I think many more the network at the regional and the global. And in Indonesia also there's many other local network. Like for the climate change, we have the Climate Alliance. Previously, we have also the CityNet chapter of Indonesia. I think URDi is at that time one of the initiative with some cities, Sidoarjo, Sukabumi, and also the Balikpapan. We have also the Indonesia Creative City Network and other heritage network. I think I just put some current or existing network that still exists in this region, in this country, like in Indonesia. Yeah, but many other network also is already gone, while the project also closing. For example, I have been experience with Pak Nur Rahman from Bandung, yeah, when we are joining with the AIT, Asian Institute of Technology for Water Supply and Sanitation and Urban Environmental Issues, yeah. And at that time also this is the regional projects in Southeast Asia, 5 years project. But now maybe since the project is already closed and also the network is still also disappear, something like that. And I believe also there are many networks from our friend here also. They already have the individual network, the network of the university, school of planning, professional association, NGOs network, and so many types of the networks that I think for me that I'm working with URDi as the non-government organization. I think the nature of the networking is become it's a must, yeah, to have the networking, yeah, not only with the global network, regional network, country network, but also with the other different of stakeholders. So, but sometimes the network also is rely on the projects, because the network is initiated by project. But there are also another types of network, membership network, like the membership network. For example, the CityNet is one example of the membership networks. Maybe another networks. I don't know. UCLG also maybe membership network for the city's government. So I think there are still exist in the region. So this is just my sharing, because for me the networking is quite important for the organization like URDi, and we will be happy to have the future networking with our friends here who are attending this training program. So the next slide. So I think maybe in this session we will invite our friends here to share the experience on the networking. Either it is in the cities level, regional, national, or global level, and maybe if possible to provide also some lesson, yeah, about the networking experience, what works and also what doesn't work for the networking. You can share with us about the experience on the networking while you are working with the government, while you are working with the non-government institution, you are working with the university. I think from that, we also have the second points. If there is any ideas to follow up this training session, because we know we have the very short time, yeah, for the training programs, 3 days, 2 half-end days. And I think if there is any ideas from our friend and participant here in building our commitment, yeah, to cooperate, and also how we can also share the resources for the future action. I don't know what kind of ideas, maybe if we want to follow up this kind of session, what we have from this session to be more be more not to be continue in the future time. And it can be the ideas, and also if you want to provide the specific strategies how to facilitate the future collaboration and knowledge management within the CityNet collaborative network. I think these two guided questions maybe for our more discussion, yeah, and sharing from our friend here, Pak David. So if we can heard the comment and suggestion from our friends here to put in as the recommendation from this training session. Maybe you can also help in putting the note, Pak David and Bu Jessica. Thank you, Pak David.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wahyu. Then, as Mr. Wahyu said that this is the time that it is supposed to be like a discussion, not one way. We want to learn from each other about what kind of networking and what works and what doesn't work in the process, and maybe a lesson learned that we could share to all. Perhaps the guiding question, we just put it there. Could you show us the guiding question? So
I think put together on the screen, and
yes.
then maybe we can start to.
Okay, and then we could start. Who wants to be the first to share their experience regarding on the networking process in the cities, or in your countries, or even in your sectors? If you want, you could raise your hands in the reaction, or you could type in the chat also. It will be okay. And if you want to share it via notes, it will be okay also. Who wants to go first?
Hello.
Okay, Mr. Siva.
Yes, thank you, sir. So I think this networking is a very important part to learn the global knowledge from parts and different company, different people. Different people have different ideas. They have their own knowledge, and if we change the region, we can get them good knowledge from other parts also. In context of the LECNAT, at the beginning, we have no any network to the other partnerships with other global network companies. But now we have a lot of network partners in LECNAT, like I say, mainland water supply. Last time we do the water operator partnership with the mainland water supply in 2012. After we have during the constant phase, the UN Habitat also comes in our we also join with the UN Habitat for the sanitation sector. Now we have also the novel systems. That is the now we are doing asset management project in LECNAT water supply systems and funded by the URDi. So now we have a CityNet also. So for these three organizations, mostly we got a lot of knowledge, and sometimes the people come from the Philippines, some of the people come from the India, some that come from the Japans, and the JICA also and working with us. So a lot of the foreign people and for foreign expertise comes LECNAT, and we'll discuss with our problems. We have a lot of problems in here. Maybe this is one of the best project in Nepal, though we have a lot of problems. Here we have maybe the high turbid water during rainy seasons in the shores. Our source is the stream shores. Due to that, we constructed 8 boreholes and to samples to for surplus of water during the rainy seasons. And in technically, we have a lot of problems here. We have high NRW. We have more than 30% NRW in Leknat. At the beginning, we have a 46% NRW in Leknat. With collaboration with the work programs with the mainland, and we got a lot of knowledge, and the mainland water supply taught a lot of things, how to find out the NRW, how to find out leakages, how to adjust it. That some of that we need to, within 2 years, we got a lot of knowledge from that institutions. So as per the direction, as per the knowledge, and we did the work on the field, and now we have 30%. We reduced 60% NRW during the 4-5 years. So in the same way, now we are working in the asset management project with the novel systems. This is one is American system we are doing. GIS, and we are putting all the whole system and GIS. And now we are doing on this project. So this networking, networking project and network with other companies is very useful and very fruitful. To the all, maybe for the small organizations, when big organization comes to us, and we get a lot of knowledge from their working experience from their colleges, we aware what our projects. So that is, I think this is very, very important to uplift, to sustain, and the project as well as we also get knowledge of the business plan, how to make the organizations, how to lead the organization successfully, how to make a business plan, what is your future plan, how to sustain the project, how to connect with the community people, and because this is a community WhatsApp project, so that we have to give the high service delivery to the customer. Customer satisfaction is the main objectives of this community supply. So that we are very aware towards the community people, because we take a quick response. If someone complains to us, then we take a quick response to the users, because the users contributed 50% of this project. Maybe in conclusion, this project is handled by the public users committee project, so that as a staff, as a chief of this organization, I'm very aware and I'm very sincere to provide the customer service very fastly and very reliable. Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Mr. Siva, do you have any link about the experience in managing water in Nepal? Like the online sharing that we can also access to learn.
I will I have some PPT of the Leknat WhatsApp project. If you give me the email address, then I will send PPT in your the email, sir. There are a lot of things that you can get a knowledge from that PPT, sir.
Okay. Do you know the LDTA? Local Development Training Agency?
Here DWSS. We have a province water supply and sanitation. Sorry, water supply and sewage and management office here. We are also the Department of Water Supply and Sewage, and we have a Ministry of Water Supply. We have the WHO. We have a UN Habitat.
Yes.
We have a TDF. A lot of organizations we are doing work for in different parts.
I think it will be valuable for our friends here if you can share also if there is any links on your experience or the materials. Thank you, Mr.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, any attendants want to share their experience also could raise their hands. So
I think Pak Nur Rahman can explain, because he already write in the chat box. Please, Pak Nur Rahman, how are you?
Still mute. You need to unmute.
It's interesting, Pak Nur Rahman. Find out the suitable research partner Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay, later on, maybe after Pak Nur Rahman finish his talk in another session. Mungkin ada lagi Pak Nur Hadi or other colleagues?
Okay, Pak, I want to share something.
Pak Nur Hadi ini banyak pengalamannya, many experience, Pak.
No, Pak. Yeah. Okay. It is quite difficult to say whether it is a network or not. It seems that network is quite a lot relations with other actors, but for sure in my organization in Bintari we also participated in, for example, in ESERN network. But later on in the later stage, because the project completed, then the sharing is not well continue, I would say. So I would say it is sometimes too pragmatic if it is established by under a program or project. So normally it works during the project or program period, but afterward it will reduce somehow and then gone. For example, like in the case of ESERN, during the program it's quite active, and then afterward we still engage sometimes, and then especially if there is a chance to collaborate through funding, for example, we apply a proposal together or something like that. But for sure, then in the later stage, the activity of exchange is slowed down and so on. Even though I would say that there are several type of networking or type of networks, and the flow of or exchange of resource, because sometimes we only know the identity of the colleague working there, and then if, for example, there is an opportunity, we can collaborate, or just we can inform the strength and the weakness of colleague if other institution wants to find partners. So in our case, for example, it is sometimes we got email from, for example, from German institution looking for partners. Then if I feel that my organization is not capable to do that, then I can connect to other colleague or other organization. So it is just in terms of influence or information, but sometimes also exchange can be established in terms of knowledge, or sometimes financial source, or in the high level. For sure, it could be exchange of resource, financial, good, and something like that. However, it is very dynamic along the period, and also sometimes, how to say, it is not formalized. It is not formalized. So I just give you an example. We in my foundation in Bintari, we have a cooperation with a Japanese organization, which has been established for 20 years. 20 years, and we have resource exchange because there is a need from that organization to spend financial source to improve to support environmental quality in Indonesia. So they have a kind of fundraising from CSR from companies, and for sure the companies have interest, for example, like improving mangrove ecosystem and so on. So they have donation, but for sure our partners in Japan, they will not implement in Indonesia because they have no capacity to do that. It's they have to spend many resources and so on. So our cooperation is that they raise the fund, and then they collect what is the interest of the funder, and then we design together the project implementation in Indonesia. Bintari implement that project, and then we submit the progress, the achievement, and so on to Japan, and then our partner in Japan will distribute to the participating companies. So here your fund, and it's become, for example, mangrove plantation this amount, and then improve the quality of coastal area this long, and so on. So this established quite sometimes, about 20 years, and it's a long period. But also we also have that quite short, for example, like I told you before, that related to ASEAN, something like that. So again, for sure, there are many variations. There are many dimensions of cooperation. Thank you, Pak. That's all.
Thank you, Pak Nur Hadi. I think it's quite interesting your sharing. Yeah. I think the first issue is about the sustainability of the network itself, ya, Pak.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it is good example when you mention about Asian. I think Asian is the Asian Cities Climate Change Resilient Network. It is funded by Rockefeller, Pak, ya?
Yes.
And implemented in Asian countries, ya? In more than 10 countries or 10 cities, Pak?
10 cities, I guess.
10 cities, yeah. I was involved, Pak, in the previous stage to select the cities in Indonesia with Mercy Corps. But then after in the preparatory phase, yeah, and then when it's come to the project implementation, it's more they are working with the local partner, yeah, like
exactly like Bintari
and Bintari. And I think it's very luxurious project, Pak. So I think, but then I think that's one example on how we can rely on this project sustainability. Yeah? Even though there are a lot of effort within the city team, I know, to continuous maintain the networking itself, yeah, in the local partner, yeah.
Yep.
And the second second experience from Pak Nur Hadi is also the importance of patronage, Pak, ya? Patron.
Yeah.
So I think our organization is similar. Yeah, we are doing the research, looking for the opportunity. I think trust is become key, yeah, to getting the project. Yeah, so the trust should be. Yeah, I think the patronage is like the entry point. Yeah, to have the good trust, to building the trust. Yeah, if you don't know someone from nowhere, maybe you don't want to give the project also. Yeah. And another thing that Pak Nur Hadi mentioned, there are two things, Pak, ya. They are very ad hoc networking, yeah. Like there are so many company consultant send email asking for the collaboration, but it is like the ad hoc thing, like just to, I mean, yeah, to get the opportunity, but you have very good filtering, yeah. If this is not really in line with your capacity, maybe it's not really put in the more effort, yeah. And the second type of networking is the permanent one, yeah. You have experience with Japanese institution, yeah.
Yeah, Pak.
And it is based on the good business model, I think, yeah. I think that's maybe quite interesting, yeah. If we can have this kind of more permanent model for the networking, and also put the business model and put the equal sharing of resources, maybe, yeah.
Exactly, Pak. Maybe just to give you a background also, that, for example, there is such amount of money. It is not 100% transfer to Indonesia for implementation. For sure, they have also activity in Japan. So out of the 100% of the fund, they also spend something for Japanese Japan activities like campaign and promoting the result and so on. But some part of the fund transfer to Indonesia for implementation. Yeah. So there is a mutual benefit among the organization.
Yeah, I think that's the good thing if you have also the share for the resources. Yeah. Thank you, Pak Nur Hadi, for your sharing experience. Do you have any quick ideas if you want to follow up from this training session? Even it is still the question, yeah, because we just have the short time for the training. Yeah? But if you have any ideas, maybe our friend from URDi or CityNet can follow up.
No idea so far, Pak. But as long as the WhatsApp group is still can be continued, maybe we can share later on.
So we should have one person who can manage all information, yeah. So thank you, Pak Nur Hadi. Please, Pak David, if there's any other share from other.
Okay. Any other attendees that wants to share their experience or their thinking? You could just raise your hands or put it in the chat box, so we could learn from each other about.
Maybe Mbak Siti Nurlela or.
Yes, Pak. Okay, I will try maybe a few things, ya Pak, ya, to discuss few things. Thank you for the opportunity. I think in our planning process, we are very familiar with the conventional public consultation, correct, ya Pak, ya?
Yeah, Bu.
Yes. So I think this forum, the public consultations, is also one form of a network, and I think it could be useful, Pak, and it could be successful if the stakeholders are available to attend and actively engage with the consultant. So one of my past experience is in Bontang City, ya Pak, ya. We identify the stakeholders based on pentahelix approach. So we only not there is involvement not only from government and private sectors or community organizations, but also from media and university as well, Pak, involved in this forum. So one of the characteristics of Bontang City is industrial city. So the stakeholder that represent the industry, the private sector, were also attending the forum, Pak. So it is very important actually. On the other hand, the consultant taking care of their valuable feedbacks, and we try at most to integrate their ideas and feedback in the planning, in our planning, proposed planning. So even though this conventional public consultation maybe is relatively few as traditional ones that criticized, yeah, by the collaborative approach, but somehow it is the most simple way, I think, and it is still useful and could be successful. Another experience maybe is still part of the planning process. We have a forum like a focus group discussion forum. We try to engage the expertise from various background. In this case, we formulate the disaster management plan, Pak. So I think this type of FGDs is also useful. But if I compare with the ALA, the ALA that we learned yesterday, this setting has certain limitations. So in FGD, in type of this setting, we only able to list the potential programs and actions for DRM or the disaster risk management plan without a further discussion, specifically because due to time limitation, Pak. So actually with ALA, I wondering how the ALA approach could work in the setting like FGD. But in with ALA, we try to elaborate in a more deep understanding ya, Pak, ya, on the rationale of the proposed program. So this is actually something difficult for myself, yeah, because by inviting, for example, government sector to our FGD and try to identify from them what is the most important programs, for example, hoping that they attend the FGD is something difficult. Moreover, if we want to have them to engage actively in the discussion is also challenging. With ALA, I think it is really the next level, ya, Pak, ya. So I can imagine the challenge will be also more heavy, Pak, because it is usually difficult to ask people, especially from government sector, to think more deeply about the rational justification of a proposed program or action, for example. Another thing maybe we have also experienced that sometimes government, we try to advocate government, city government, but when their interest is difficult with our project goal, it won't work, Pak. So the government usually they respond very slow, yeah. Of course, we understand that they have very values duty, yeah, Pak, yeah, and maybe responding to us is something that out of their priority. So especially when their interest is different with our program goals. So this is something else I think that we need to consider during the network and collaborative session. Maybe that's all for me, Pak, so far. Maybe I hope we still have QA sessions, ya, Pak, ya, so we can dig more on some problem. Thank you, Pak.
Thank you, Bu Siti, for your sharings on the experience to organize and also organize the networking session, yeah, through the public consultation, focus group discussion, and also doing the advocacy with the local government in Indonesia. Yeah, I think we are now already familiar with some methods, yeah, to get the input from or to share the result or to talk with the people, yeah, using the public consultation, using the FBD, and other modes of the forum. And I think you pointed out you have the good experience in Bontang, yeah. I think maybe you can share more what kind of preparation, maybe, because in some experience also I have very not really the optimal results, yeah, from the public consultation due to the limitation of the time to prepare and also the variety of the people who attended the consultation forum. If you can give us the what is the clue, yeah, to get the successful public consultation. Thank you, Bu.
Yeah, but actually the method is quite standard one, yeah, but yeah, the conventional method. So we prepare presentations, like 30-minute presentations. But we we try to present an interactive screen ya Pak ya on the screen, on the big screen ya Pak ya. So all of the discussion people can follow up. All the critics, for example, all the feedbacks, everyone can follow up. And actually the most important point, actually the attendance of the important stakeholders, like I mentioned, the stakeholders from the industry, they have a lot of interest with planning document actually. So they try to discuss their interest to be part of the planning document ya Pak ya. Of course, at that session, I think we still have negotiation as well. For example, the reduction of public open space ya Pak ya. So the industry has a responsibility to provide public open space. They try to put it back ya Pak ya. I mean, they try to reduce it, and we still try to negotiate by referring to the regulation and so on and so forth, something like that. That's one example ya Pak ya. So this is a dynamic and engaging session actually. We also try to make agreement Pak. So we have a letter of agreement based on important point for each of the component of the spatial structure and spatial plan ya Pak ya. So each of the important component we put on the screen and we conclude what is the agreement that agreeing by all the parties ya Pak ya.
This is about detailed spatial plan or?
Oh yeah, yes, Pak. Sorry, I forgot to mention. So this is the public consultation on the detailed spatial plan or
Okay, that's why the stakeholder very interested, Bu.
Yes, yes. I think in this era they quite has interest.
Yeah, because like in Jakarta, if we are discuss about the detailed spatial plan, so many people come, Bu, because it will also affect to their land use. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But when we are talking about the city spatial plan, it's still general. Nobody come.
Oh, I see, Pak. Okay, Pak.
But I think this is quite important also. I mean, when the topic is about something that can also affect their business.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I agree. If we are talking about the detailed spatial plan, everybody is very enthusiastic to know what will be the city's land use looks like. Okay, so I get the point, Bu. Sometimes it's also become like the guardian for the businessman.
I see. Okay, Pak. So that's another issue, ya, Pak. Ya.
But interesting, it is quite the big one, yeah, the big meeting, yeah.
Yes, Pak. Yes, big meeting, yeah. I just wondering, Pak, how the ALA could work, Pak, in that setting, because the ALA is maybe in my understanding or so far in my understanding, maybe we can use ALA with very limited participant. Is that correct, Pak?
I don't know. Maybe later, Pak Krishna is still here too.
Oh, okay, sure.
For me, ALA is like, correct me if I'm wrong, Pak Krishna. This is the approach that developed in Holland, in Dutch, at the 2010, something like that. So they are trying to involve first the multi-stakeholder rather than the common top-down planning exercise. So I read like the article they talk. ALA is like they try to discuss undefined problem. So looking for the priority problem, something like that. Maybe Pak Krishna can share also.
Yeah, thank you, Pak.
Any others from our friend from Philippines or Sri Lanka or?
We would like to hear more from our colleagues from Philippines. Maybe Miss Gina or Miss Sheila could share with us.
Sure.
What is your experience in Philippines?
I mean, about the WOP programs. I'm right, sir?
Please.
Yes.
Okay, so in WOP means Water Operator Partnership Program. That is the WOP, that is called in short WOP, WOP WOP. In this network program, mainly the water supply export came in Nepal, in Leknath WhatsApp project. And first they collect all the data and the and knowledge of these staffs. Do we have the such kinds of them good knowledge about the water leaks, maybe the water quality or not? So they have one. They bring one survey form, and we submit the forms. After that, they make the conclusion. What kinds of knowledge should we deliver to the staff of Leknath? So after that, they design the projects. This is the first day program. I'm talking about the first day program. And they, at the time, they, in the second day, and they give some brief introduction of the mainlet and how they are working in the sector of NRW, as well as the water quality monitoring. So that they but we are the computer-based WhatsApp project. We have no any such kind of huge facilities, and we have no any sophisticated instrument to find out leakages. We have no any sophisticated water testing lab to test the water in daily basis. But the mainland is a very huge water supply project in the Philippines, so that we got a lot of knowledge from their experience and experience. Now, when they go back to the mainland, but we continuously working with the emails, and we have to work on. They gave a lot of homework to me to do in the project work, field works as in office work. So I did all these activities timely and submit the report through the email. Then the second time and second visit, they came after 6 months. And they came another expert who actually works in the NRW department head. They came with the NRW department head. And at the time we get the theoretical knowledge, and then we got the practical knowledge on the field. So we had to meet the work in the field to find out the leakages, and they whatever. And there is some methods to find out the leakage. That means we should have a full water supply inside the pipe, so that is only possible during the midnight. Otherwise, the customer use the water through the taps. But in the midnight, there is a full water in the inside the pipe. So with that expert, we did that works in the midnight. So that gives a lot of knowledge. This is the technique to find out the leakage. This is the technique to find out pressure in the pipes. So we got a lot of knowledge. So because of that, previously I told you that this is the network. Your collaboration is very, very, very important to all the organizations. Maybe this is higher organization, maybe this is a lower organization. It doesn't matter. Sometimes the lower organization gives the knowledge to the higher organization, because all are not expert in this world. So that we have to sharing this collaboration network is very important to share the knowledge to each other for sustaining the project, and for making the knowledge to it with each other. And for the other ways, we have also the you have a human relations. We get the know each other, and to keep in touch with intro and all over and all the times. Still, our work program has already finished 2012 to 2015. After 7 years, I'm also contact with the mainland person still. If I have any problems, if I want to know something about the new techniques, then I wrote email to them, and they reply me, and they share their knowledge through the emails. So So since long, even though the project has already completed, we finished, though our personal relations is very important, and we also gain the personal relations through these collaborating networks. Thank you, sir.
It's interesting, Mr. Siva, your sharing. You mentioned about the something like water leakage.
Yes, sir.
So how it is? There is the good performance now about this one, because yeah, it is also common, the very popular issues, yeah, in water supply, because like the non-water revenue is still high, yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes, you're right.
So,
Still, we have a 30%.
30%.
30% non waters. Now we have already installed the SCADA, and maybe soon after 6 months we use SCADA systems. So though from that systems we get some knowledge what now, and we, in different sectors we install the pressure transmitters as well as and ultrasonic flow meters. Now the work is going on, so that after 6 months we will complete that project, and after that we are localized the leakages. I think we can near to the leakages, and maybe we'll find out some major leakages through this SCADA.
Sometimes it's also because of the old pipe system, yeah.
Actually, our project is not so much old. It is 40 years old.
Okay, good.
Yeah, 2008 we supplied the water from 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much old, but our PP, we have a lot of pipes are PPP pipe.
Mm.
Frequently we have breakages of the pipe during the summer and during the winter season because of the cold weather and because of the high temperature. PEP pipe sink and expanded during that time.
Okay, thank you. And you mentioned about the continuation of the network is continued even the project is completed, yeah.
Yes, because of the yes, sir, sure. So this is the collaborative network is very important to the all organizations as well as for the personal development, for the personal knowledge. It is.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, sir.
Okay. Next, Miss Gina wants to share her experience.
Yes, okay. I have an experience, networking experience. So first, I would like to give you a background of Santa Rosa City. So our city is very rich in natural resources, specifically the groundwater. So the groundwater quality of the city is very good. So that's why the biggest Coca-Cola plant in the Southeast Asia was located here in Santa Rosa. And also we have a number of car manufacturing industries. So these industries, we know that they extract a huge amount of groundwater. And then we have this collaboration networking with the De La Salle University of here in the Philippines, Manila. They have a project about the water, groundwater sustainability of the city of Santa Rosa. So what we did is we conducted together with the students of the university, we conducted key informant interviews, so survey, and then also focus group discussions. So this project was funded by Canada, and in collaboration with the AIT Thailand, Asian Institute of Technology. So IDRC Canada, to be specific, funded this International Development Research Center in Canada. They funded the project. So they just want to know the status and of the groundwater of the city of Santa Rosa. So what we learned more with this process, especially with the key informant interviews and focus group discussions that we did with the residents, because we noticed that the residents now are suffering from a water shortage. So from their wells, so they got a small amount now. They can unlike before or 20 years before that there are many springs in the area, but now since the establishment of these huge manufacturing companies, so after a decade or two, they experience water shortage. So what we learned with the key informant interviews and focus group discussions is that we learned that the people, they just don't answer what is being asked about. So the people, especially the natives, they tell stories. They will say, I used to live here since I was a little kid, but we used to go here to take a bath like that. So, but now we have to move to another place or to go to another place just to have some water. So, or to have to add up tubes to their wells so that they could pump out water. So, what works well is the storytelling of the natives, of the people around. So we learned more, especially the students of De La Salle University, who are, we can say that is a little bit rich, belongs to the rich family. So they were able to learn from the natives and the common people there what are being done and what are the lifestyle and what are the usual works of the people there. So after this networking, so the data that we have gathered, we use this in the formulation of various plans. So I was also involved in the crafting of the local climate change action plan of the city of Santa Rosa with ACERN, with assistance from the ACERN or the Asian Climate Change Resilience Network.
Yeah,
So
just excellent.
we participated together with other cities in the Philippines. So we had this workshops held in different cities, 2 workshops and 1 right shop. So the learnings, the data that we have gathered from these from the interviews and discussions were a good help for us to identify sustainable programs related to water and other projects that is deemed necessary for our constituents. So that's it. That's some of my my experiences in networking.
Thank you, Ms. Gindan, for your sharing of experience with regard to the groundwater, yeah, and also you provide some experience on how to deal with the community in doing the interview, yeah, using the storytelling techniques, yeah, rather than the open question. I think. I'm just curious about do you have any division of responsibility in dealing with the groundwater? Because like for the deep well, for the manufacturing, sometimes it's belong not to the local government, but for the household groundwaters or shallow deep well, it's belong to the local government. Do you have any division of responsibilities?
Yes, the city of Santa Rosa regulated the use of the shallow wells for the households, but the main responsibility on the groundwater belongs to the national agency, the NWRB, National Water Resources Board.
National.
So yes, national. It's a national agency, and I had some interviews with them regarding the status of the groundwater of the city, and we are trying to forge a memorandum of agreement with them to have projects or in collaboration with this, such as monitoring together with the city government and the NWRB. So since the responsibility and the mandate belongs to them, so we have to have some agreements, formal agreements with them, and we are working on that.
Okay. Is this also including the revenue sharings from the fee, something like that?
Again, pardon?
No, the agreement is also include about the revenue sharing from the groundwater extraction something?
No. Starting first with the monitoring of the groundwater extraction.
Okay.
Maybe some other time we could include more with our agreement.
Yeah. So I think another interesting also about the right of the water. Yeah, you mentioned that the community feel that they previously they have no problem with the water, but then now they have problem with the groundwater. Yeah?
Yes, a little. They are experiencing a little problem with them compared to 2 decades ago. That they are very rich in water. So the springs there dried up. Some of the springs. People narrated their experiences with that, and we learned that. So the young generations learned that before their grandparents experienced this water, which is now depleting.
How about the safety for using the groundwater? Do you have any monitoring for safety?
Septage, yes, this is in the pipeline. So we have this ongoing septage management plan study, a study first with the city planning office and in collaboration with our city engineering office and environment and natural resources office of the city.
Okay, thank you. I lost the connection for a while. Thank you, Ms. Gina, for your sharing.
Okay, welcome.
Okay, David, any other or we?
Is there any other or you could just raise hand?
Nur Rahman is already.
He's currently in the meeting.
Still in the meeting.
Yeah. Any other participant that wants to share? We still got a few minutes if you want.
Can we ask questions or this is only for sharing session?
This is sharing and
no problem.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, low. Are we low?
Yeah. So, sure.
Okay, because I
Yes.
have question to Pak Wahyu based on presentation from Pak Wahyu. I just wondering that you already share with us there are 3 approach in doing the stakeholder analysis. The first one is based on the position of the actor, such as the vector, the primary and secondary actor. The second one is based on legitimacy, resources, and strongly network. And the third one is the sociogram that combine actor and their policy domain. Yeah. I have 2 questions. The first question is, do we need to conduct all 3 approaches? Or maybe in what setting or what research problem we need one type more over another type of stakeholder analysis? So that's my first question. My second question is, how do we fill in the data during this analysis? I think we need to understand each of the stakeholder positions before we are able to do this analysis. So do we make this study or interview or engage directly with them? Do you think, based on your experience, which way is the most effective way to understand each of the stakeholder positions in a fast and correct manner? So that's my 2 questions, Pak Wahyu. Thank you.
You need to unmute, Pak.
Sorry, Bu Siti, for the first question, it is in what situation we can use the type of stakeholders in stakeholder analysis?
Yeah, do we need to conduct all of these three, Pak, all together, yeah, like combination all of these three approaches, or we can use one of another, and if we choose one of another, in what setting or in what questions, research questions?
Yeah, thank you, Bu. In the example of the stakeholder analysis, I'm using like the 4 different groups, yeah, of the stakeholder based on the legitimacy, resources, and also the network, the strong network what they have, yeah. And if they have these 3 kind of characteristic, I think it will become like the key, yeah. But if only 2, we can also, like we have the 4 different categories, yeah. I think if we use this kind of for different groups, maybe we have to consistent to use this kind of framework, yeah. But if you only choose 1 or 2, I don't know, but I'm trying to put this kind of three indicator or 3 criteria, yeah. If we are using that kind of analysis framework, yeah. And of course, Bu, we sometimes we are rely on the study, yeah, to identify about the task and responsibility of stakeholder, because somehow if we refer to the government, so the information is already there, yeah. But then the problem, if we want to elaborate more on the role of non-government shareholder, yeah. So if there is also there is no other online source about the organization, I think we have to do the interview or like the trying to elaborate about the information on the organization. So I think firstly we are relying on the study. But if you want to have the more detailed profiling or detailed role and responsibility, like if you want to do the advocacy, Bu, yeah, so you need to do the more on the intelligence, I call the intelligence activities, yeah, not rely on the study. For example, if you only have the stakeholder analysis just to see the general understanding about different stakeholder, it's no problem. We use the study. But if you want to do the advocacy, as you mentioned, you have the experience also for the advocacy. Why you have failed in dealing with the government? Yeah, I think we have to do we call like the intelligent. Sometimes we hire also the specialists to do that too. I have the experience, as I mentioned, I have the experience to conduct the study on the profiling of the legislative members in DPR, yeah, in national level. When we want to deliver the message for the climate change advocacy, Bu. We know that this is belong to the committee number 6, Komisi 6, yeah, dealing with the environment. But then we hire the person who has experience working with the DPR, yeah, to make some intelligence about who is in the committee number 6 playing as the like the veto players or playing as the resource person or the key person, yeah, from different parties, Bu. So the result is from about the 50 members of the parliament, we only identify 3 or 4 persons, yeah, who has very strong influence in that commission. So if you want to have deliver the message about the policy change and etc., maybe we have not to deal with the whole members of the parliament in the commission, but we only deal with the 3 or 4 people, yeah, as the house speakers or speakers within the commission. So if he already talk about something, the others will follow or agree about that. That kind of situation we get not from the study actually. Yeah? This is from the from the interview, yeah, and then learning from the situation who is the really. So I think that kind of I don't know, skill and capacity also we need, yeah, when we're dealing with the government. Sometimes we have to see the political situation within the office, yeah, and who can deliver our message, yeah, to be more strong and etc. So it need not on the study is only the first screening, yeah, but then if you want to get more detail on the advocacy, conflict resolution, we need more deep interview, Bu. Thank you, Bu.